Hello and welcome. Today I am joined by a very special guest. You might have seen her before, but I will let her introduce herself and plug what she wants to plug.
Hi, my name is the Apostate of Allah, or like you see in the under, Sarah, normal name. And my YouTube channel is Apostate of Allah, and I deal with Islam and whatnot. Because, yeah, there we go. Not very good at introducing myself. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So what are some things? Sorry, I expected a little bit more, a little more in depth. It's like, oh yeah, here I am, and here we go. Oh, that works. Short, sweet, and right to it. Let's go with it. Special thank you, just as a little bit of house cleaning, special thank you to the members. We have Gabe, Reason to Answers, Breakfast Gun, and Professor Yuffle. Professor Yuffle has actually been there for over a year, so congratulations for making a whole year. Woohoo. Okay, so our topic today is who is the most evil villain of all time?
Mm-hmm.
So that is the question.
It was with Evil Mustache Man, Muhammad, and Genghis Khan.
In this case, but I only had like 4 options on
Mm-hmm.
the poll I put out for you guys to vote on. If you guys want to vote on that, please do. If you guys want to do a call in, you are more than welcome to come in, join, give your opinion as well. So we had someone beforehand mention that Stalin should be on the list. Well, again, I only had 4 spots, and I had to put Santa Claus on there just for the fun of it.
Evil Santa.
Evil Santa. He breaks into the most houses, let's be honest here.
He always commits breaking and entering and never gets in trouble.
Nope, he gets away with everything, man.
If I do, I'll get locked up.
So, if we'll do a little guessing, I'm not sure how familiar you are with these characters throughout history, but we'll start with Stalin because that was the one that was suggested. So, Stalin, do you know how high his death toll is?
It's high, but I don't know how high his death toll is. I didn't do a whole study on Stalin.
So some estimates put him up at 9 million. That's a lot of people. 9 million dead. Now, granted, we don't see a bunch of people running around in Stalin's name currently. He was only for a portion of time, and he didn't set himself up as a religious leader at all. So there's that. Okay, what about Hitler? He started World War II, so you know what the death count was for, I guess, World War II?
Whatever.
I mean, we might as well throw that on him.
6 million Jews were brutally murdered by Evil Mustache Man.
Evil Mustache Man. I'd say in total we have like 85 million dead. That's a lot. That's a lot of people. 85 million dead during World War II, and that includes the civilians as well as the military deaths. So, but that was all triggered by him. Now, oddly enough, I keep hearing this because people keep posting about this. Was Hitler a Christian?
No, he wasn't. He hated Christianity. He thought Christians were too soft.
Yeah, Hitler, this comes from A Study of Tyranny. This is a biography on Hitler himself. It's quoted as saying, in Hitler's eyes, Christianity was a religion fit only for slaves. Its teachings, he declared, was a rebellion against the natural law of selection by struggling of the fittest. Which I actually would agree that, yes, Christian teachings are against may the most powerful win.
Yeah.
That looks out for the small guys. He also talked about Christianity was ripe for destruction, and it must subdue to the state. Even the guy that was in charge of his propaganda. Okay, so this is a guy that's supposed to make Hitler look good. So the Fuhrer is deeply religious, though completely anti-Christian. He views Christianity as a symptom of decay. not a very good opinion on Christianity, although he did have a very favorable look on Islam.
Mm-hmm. Even though he didn't like the people.
He didn't like the people so much, but he wished that Charles Mandel would have failed and Islam would have came into Europe, and then he would have been leading a Muslim religion. He said, "You see, it's been our misfortune to have the wrong religion. Why don't we have the religion of the Japanese, who regard sacrifice for the fatherland as the highest good? The Mohammedan religion, too, would have been much more compatible to us than Christianity. Why did it have to be Christianity with its meekness and flabbiness?"
It's flabbiness.
Flabbiness. Why pick that?
Flabbiness. Yeah, he didn't. It's the irony of it all as well. Because, like I was saying, he doesn't like them because he tried to also go into North Africa. And what kind of people live in North Africa? Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ideology, just not the people. Yet, we literally have places in Jordan or in Gaza named stores named after Hitler or Nazism and all these other stuff. Like they don't see it. I personally knew somebody that I had to shut down real quick. And he was saying something positive about Hitler. So
Well,
there is that.
Even the image behind you, I used AI generated tool to make it, and it would not do Hitler.
It wouldn't?
It would do Mohammed. It wouldn't have a problem with Mohammed. Genghis Khan, no problem. Enough. Yeah, not white enough. Well, I can only do so much. It's not. I don't expect the AI to have read all the hadith, okay?
Okay.
I'm not going to be too terribly picky.
The whiteness of his stomach and the whiteness of his thighs and the whiteness of his armpits.
I've never heard about such a people that are so obsessed about the whiteness of one individual. So yeah, so that would be Hitler. So far, Hitler would be the highest death toll that we're counting so far. We have Genghis Khan, which he was, well, widely regarded as one of the worst disasters, almost a natural disaster level rating.
There is a but, though. What did Hitler and Muhammad ever contribute to society? Positive.
That's what I'm thinking. Hitler, not so. I mean, Muhammad, not so much. Hitler, there's some industry, there were some scientific discoveries that were done under his regime that did end up being beneficial after we stopped all the stupid studies that they were doing. Mostly biology studies. We still use some of the biology studies today.
No, Genghis Khan. Yeah, he did commit atrocities because of his half-brother and food and he did go pillage and do all those bad things. They made rivers of blood, but he also did other stuff though. You know, he actually treated his people okay. And he allowed for religious freedom.
Yes, he did.
Tax exemptions in places of worship. Created the first international postal system. So there's that. And never attacked India because they minded their own business.
Well, there's that, and there's this huge mountain range in between them, and horses aren't as good. Horse archers are not really very good whenever you're dealing with mountain
This
terrain.
Is terrible, because Genghis Khan put up next to Adolf Hitler and Muhammad. It's like all of a sudden you find yourself a Genghis Khan apologist.
He's not actually that bad, comparison-wise. Again, we're talking about comparison. We're not saying that he was, a really bad. Good guy.
He was a bad guy.
We're talking about degrees.
Yeah, we're talking about rivers of blood this man committed. He created, and just murdering and pillaging and raping. I think he had 500 concubines.
Oh yeah, there's a good portion. Remember, there's a good portion of Europe that can relate themselves back to him.
Yeah.
because of all the rape and the pillaging and the plundering and the women.
Mm-hmm.
So here is, let me pull this on up here, this overlay. This is the map of Germany at its height during World War II.
Yes.
And then you have Genghis Khan's empire. Again, huge swath of land. Mm-hmm. Absolutely huge amount of land taken there.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely when you consider that the fastest travel you had was either by sea, which most of this wouldn't be connected by sea in any fast way.
Yeah.
Which left horsepower, and he was very, very good at using tactics like that. So, clearly Santa Claus
is the only correct choice. Oh, Martyr Mouse.
Oh, had to put that one in there. We actually have someone voting for it too. Actually, he's getting so far in the tally. By the way, just focusing on the poll for a second, 71% say Mohammed. Mm-hmm. Adolf Hitler got 11. Genghis got 6. And Santa Claus got 11.
Who are the 11 people that voted for Santa Claus?
Well, it's only 18 views. So it votes so far, so there's not that many. But okay, now now people are just going for Santa Claus now.
Just yeah.
I think just jumped up to 16.
I think Muhammad is the right answer in my opinion because those deaths are still happening today.
Well, we will get on to that in just a second. So, okay. Yeah, he would be the next one in line that we'd be focusing on this. And his death toll. Luckily, my wife did a short on this, which about a year ago, and actually did all the research, which was very nice. She tallied up a lot of numbers. We're looking at over, because it's, like you said, it's still growing.
Yeah.
Over 270 million dead, based on the teachings and the life of Muhammad. That overshadows everything else. I mean, Hitler, which is, again, widely considered in the West to be the worst of the worst, the largest number for World War II fatalities, is still only 85, where Muhammad's is over 270 million. That is so many. I mean, even if we look at just, this is a website called the Religion of Peace, which is a fantastic website. Very nice website. Mm-hmm. If you're curious about it, dive in. They got a lot of information on here. But for September, for this year, just last month, we had 53 attacks in the name of Muhammad and Islam. 338 added to that tally. Over 546 injured. And this took place over 17 different nations. And if you click here, you can load up and they can actually show you, they'll show you the breakdown of where the attack was, why, what description it was, who it was. And there is a lot here just showing, and again, they go through this.
Oh, the Religion of Peace.
So yeah, that death toll is still counting. So now if we look at, I guess, his version of the empire, which would be, technically would be every Muslim out there, but we'll only look at the Muslim nations themselves. Let's go ahead and pull that overlay there. It would be equivalent, if not greater. Actually, this would be greater than the Mongol Empire as far as where expanded.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of people as far as population goes. It's large.
It's large.
It's the fastest growing religion.
It's a very what's that word? Arab supremacist religion. That's not what I wanted to say. I say that Muslims are the biggest colonizers there are. People can easily point out at Europeans, this, that, and the other things, but no. Yet nobody looks at the Muslim Arab started in this little dust ball of Saudi Arabia, Islam.
So yeah,
How did that happen? And it's never in peace. It's never done in peace. Like Egypt is Egypt itself. I'm half Egyptian. Okay. Egypt itself, where when accepted, because they're already naturally a very religious country. So when Christianity was introduced into Egypt, they quickly accepted the Christian faith. Okay. After they got that, here comes Islam coming in. So now you have these Egyptians speaking their native language, being forced to speak Arabic, whether they like it or not, or if they were caught speaking their native Coptic tongue, they had their tongues chopped off. How is that not spoken about? How come we're only looking at what Europeans ever did and what Americans did? It's because it goes against the narrative.
Yep, so little part of Saudi Arabia, one city in particular, but even then, even if you say, well, okay, well, they started in Mecca or Medina, well, the problem is both of those were actually taken by force again. So even those were taken over by force. So there is no non-force taken section that Islam actually owns today. So pretty bad.
No.
All in all.
All this land, like, and they also have this mentality: if a land was once viewed as being an Islamic land, it's always an Islamic land, which is why we see stuff that's going on today. I've heard an imam talking about how after they're done here, they want to go to Spain. They're not hiding it. So that's why Muhammad is the worst. His influence is there.
Well, on top of that, so you have, we've been just talking about the secular side of just the pure numbers, looking at statistics and land. Real quick here, we have a super chat here. The Santa votes are all from troll accounts. No, I think those are mostly people that would be my fans because they know I put that on there for purpose. Because it's funny. I'll be honest, I would have voted it too.
Somebody said you have an Zen master said you have an Islamic beard, but it's kicking.
Islamic beard. I did at one point shave off the mustache too. That was for a video with David and Thaddeus and everyone. But that was a while back, and we still haven't seen that video out. So you have the religious aspect of this, of course. If Christianity is true, we believe that Islam is false and that Islam is leading not only to the deaths of individuals, but to the spiritual deaths at the same time, which is absolutely horrendous. And the corruption within the families themselves.
Yeah, it's hard to think about that spiritual destruction sometimes, because sometimes we do get into the flesh. We don't so much think about the spiritual part. Like, at the end of the day, if you remove yourself from your anger and you look at these jihadis, you're like, these people actually believe they're doing the will of the Creator. They actually believe they're doing the will of Allah, God, their God. They believe this, and what they're doing is good. Just let that marinate in here a little bit. It's not just the attack. It's like, yes, we could say, like, for example, these Dawa people out there, they're all talk. These are people with ego. I don't think they actually believe in a lot of stuff that they say, because if they did, they would be out performing actions, you know? The ones out there actually doing stuff, they really believe in what they're doing.
Yeah, they believe that this is God Almighty has ordained the death of the infidel. And it just brings it to a whole nother level that Hitler did not hit on, that Genghis Khan did not hit on, that Mao did not hit on, that Stalin did not hit on. It's a whole nother level. And no, my wonderful wife, you don't have to pay me. You can always come over and harass me, I guess. I don't know what you're referring to, your comment you're referring to. You're just talking. You're over there getting harassed by truth defenders down there, which is hilarious. So I guess that is the main gist of it. And again, it is an open call-in, so anyone can come in and join us on this and give an account for, why Muhammad is not the worst villain. Or, if you want to give a counterpoint, add on to what we've already talked about, you're more than welcome to.
Is there somebody that would think Muhammad isn't? That's not a Muslim?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure there probably are people out there who are not Muslim who would believe that this gentleman here is still a decent individual, and maybe, of course, according to the Muslims, he is the ideal man.
He's wearing Aisha's lingerie?
Yep. Ideal man wearing Aisha's lingerie, dancing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yes, those come off, and that is some of the cards I'm working on. That's one of the topics. So, if you guys want to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, check out Apostate of Allah's channel. I mean, I don't know if there's much more to be said about who's the most evil. I mean, we've measured, by all measuring sticks that we can imagine.
Who do you think
Muhammad
the Muslims will say are the worst, is the most evil person?
Paul.
I think it's a competition between Paul and Constantine.
Paul and Constantine, probably. Between the two. Though I think most of them would go to Paul.
Paul, the one that didn't, after he became a Christian, did nothing wrong. The Paul. I remember I was talking to a Muslim when I first became a Christian, and one of the things that I found fascinating was the conversion of Paul. And I was so excited to go tell him about the conversion of Paul, and while I was sharing the gospel, and he looked at me on the topic of Paul, about how he changed, and after Jesus knocked him down on the way to Damascus, and his change and everything. He just looked at me with a serious face, like I was the crazy one. He goes, "And you actually believe that?" Yes.
Yeah, that's... Yes, we do. I mean, that's not... His conversion makes no sense by any other standards.
Yeah.
So my wife here points out that the abortion toll is one of the only rivals to Muhammad's death toll, basically. Which would be true. Absolutely. Okay. Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
You said I didn't have to pay you, but then you still didn't read my comments, so I figured I'd have to jump in.
Well, I read your comment. Right there.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I just did.
Oh, well, that must have been while I was jumping into the studio.
I didn't want to... She was talking. I didn't want to be a rude guest. Rude host.
Way back when at the beginning, I was saying that you should give a dishonorable mention to, or whatever, to Margaret Singer because of her impact on that. Mm-hmm. And obviously, it's not just her alone. It's quite a lot of people, but same with Islam. I mean, it's so heartbreaking when these people not only spend their lives destroying others, but when they encourage others to spend their lives destroying others. And we see that also with the abortion rates and just the heartbreak that comes from all those lives that never got to live and experience the glory of God's creation, earthside at least. But at least with those, it's not blamed on God, which you guys did hit on after I had said that, as far as like to have this such a strongly rooted component in, oh, this is because God wants us to do this. It's so heartbreaking. So anyway, you guys did a great job.
With that Margaret Singer thing, though, when the abortion, I think that's a full circle back to Hitler now with eugenics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going right back to it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Muhammad has also caused quite a lot of deaths for newborns as well in his wake. So that's also tied to him because, I know we've talked about this before on this channel. But one of the things in the slave trade that was because of Muhammad, the Islamic slave trade, they would rape the females, and then when they gave birth, they would kill their babies.
Yep.
And it's just completely heartbreaking. Again, all for the false god Allah. I mean, all this human sacrifice, all this evil bloodshed, and desperate attempts to rip souls away from the one true God, who is the only one who can save eternally, especially.
And Islam
That's
isn't
what it comes down
completely
to.
against abortion either.
No, because if memory serves, reading through, there's a time period that even after birth, they're not considered actually truly human.
I don't know.
And according to some hadith, women are never actually human. They're just animals.
Yeah. Yeah, so as far as women's rights go.
What, women's rights in Islam? There's no women's rights in Islam?
Nope.
I know this is a shocker to everyone.
All my life.
Well, they have the right to do exactly what they're told or be beaten.
Yes,
so they have the right to. They're women's rights. You just have to look at it right. I mean, Christians have rights too under Islamic rule. They have the right to pay the jizya, or they have the right to die horribly.
Or convert.
That's their choice. See? They even have freedom of choice.
Full circle back to Genghis Khan. Religious freedom.
Yeah, Genghis Khan had religious freedom. There were a lot of times, some of the stories about him are pretty crazy. Like whenever he invaded one of the nations and the king decided to send his army out and didn't go himself, Genghis Khan had if memory served, Genghis Khan had mercy on the captives he took. But when he took the king, he locked him up in his gold tower with gold and said, that's it. You don't even, you didn't even have enough honor to come out there and face me in battle. You can just stay here and die. Eat your gold. And left him there. So, I mean, Genghis Khan had his own form of morality, far from accurate, but he did have some good things that came from it. And again, even with Hitler, out of that decay and that destruction, there's still some things that we could pull from that ruin as good. Islam, not so much.
There's nothing in Islam that can be redeemable.
Yeah, but what about all the scientific discoveries all done by apostates?
Scientific discoveries? Oh, do you mean how the sun sets in a pool of murky water?
that one? They could claim that one.
Okay, and babies form from blood clots? That one?
Yeah, that doesn't hold up to anyone that watches those. Actually reads it. It's like, just read it.
I thought the top Islamic Dawah dudes admit that the Islamic scientific miracles have been debunked.
Not a lot of Muslims know these things.
Yeah, but they actually came out and said something like this.
Repeat it again, very carefully. The scientific miracles argument in the Quran got debunked.
He enunciated debunked too.
Debunked. And came on afterwards and even clarified it. In his next video, it's like, some people are thinking that I'm not saying this, but I'm definitely saying this. I'm like, thank you. You're doing a nice job for me. I appreciate the work that you're doing in this one.
We need more Ali Dawas and stuff just to make our lives easier.
Yeah, scientific miracles about the women having sperm and sperm coming from the backbone and the ribs, which I've had plenty of Muslims try to argue is actually true. Well, not the women part. They dropped that one pretty quick. But the backbone and ribs. Actually, what sounds like is Muhammad's experience with women is
DL Kobe.
related with some sort of STD.
His experiences with women was DL Kobe. That's it.
Okay, well, that would explain some things. That explains a lot, actually.
Oh, Muhammad. What else was there? Oh yeah, my favorite pastime when I was talking to a Muslim and we were it was about the flies being dipped and how one wing it doesn't have the cure and the other one has a disease and the other wing has the cure. He was literally going there and defending it with his chest. And I'm just staring. I was like letting him talk and I'm like, "Are you serious right now?" When I was
brother,
That's the only response you can have to that. No, no, stop. No. No logical sense to this at all.
Eat poop, you know?
Poop. And drinking camel urine.
Oh, yes, I have a bottle of camel urine. Not real. It's just water with food coloring.
See, having a bottle of camel urine back here. And then you have to clarify.
Because, okay, delete, everybody. You know the Men in Black memory loss thingy?
Flashy.
Yeah. I have a bottle of camel urine.
I've got, one of the things I want to do is make camel urine glasses. Cups that people can get. That would be fantastic. That'd be hilarious.
That would be. Yes. Oh my goodness, what's going on out there? Sorry, this is the outside world. We live in a fallen world where people call the police.
People have to call the police sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, especially jihadis roaming to and fro on the earth.
So again, guys, you can call in. I think we've made our case, at least. I don't know if there's any defense to this. I'd love to hear a defense. That might be interesting. Well, you see, it was all God's plan, and because God wanted it, He wanted Muhammad to kill all those people and sell all those women and children into slavery.
But that's weird, though. Why, after they are like, no, you're not in our book, and then they just make fun of him? Why drive out and murder all these Jews, and then later on do the same for Christians? That doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it doesn't. Definitely when you're like, we're all kindred spirits. They can, trust them. They'll witness for me. I was talking to someone yesterday, and I was like, yeah, so if I were to come up to someone and say, apostate of Allah, she'll verify that I'm a good person, that I'm trustworthy, that I've been here the entire time. She'll verify it. And then that person goes and talks to you, and you say, I have never heard of Eric. What's going on with that? I don't know. And then my response is, see, she's lying. She's covering it up. She doesn't want you to know the truth. Come on.
Why would I lie? Why are you picking me to say I know? It's the same thing with the Jews. It's like, wait, what? And then the Christians, we believe in Muhammad, we believe in Jesus, and we believe in Mary, we believe in the virgin birth. But do you believe in the death, burial, and resurrection? Oh no, except for that. All that stuff is wrong. And then the very center, the very source of the faith, drink the blood of Jesus. Yikes. Okay. There's Abdul Hasib Tamim. It's yeah, that one.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to come up and join us here. Come defend the ideal man in Islam. Come defend him. Right there.
Now, can you defend Muhammad, or can you just make just really dumb comments on the live stream?
Because so far you say it's something that's completely not relevant. I mean, I guess you could say it because we said about drinking, where Muhammad's telling people to go drink camel urine as medicine. I guess you could say they're drinking the blood of Jesus. So, let me ask you a question. So, in the Bible, where it talks about that in the Gospels, the Injil. Does Jesus slit his wrists and pour blood into a cup and then hand that to everyone?
This is the same guy who believes in a man who went around spitting in the mouths of other men because that saliva would make it a one-way ticket to Jannah.
Well, that's sucking on little boys' tongues and movies.
Yeah. That's not made up. This is something I was told growing up, and even as a kid, I was like, but you can't say anything. And you're gonna, yeah, like he literally.
That sounds a little funky.
Yeah.
Sounds a little off to me.
Just a tad bit.
Tad bit. Just a little bit.
Where is
so there you go. I'll make it even easier for you. I'll put it back in. I know it's supposed to be pinned at the top of the live stream for you, but here it is right here. You call in, you just click that link. You might need to be careful if you're using some applications, some browsers. Make sure you allow them to put everything up there. But we should be good to come on up and talk about it. So let's look at the poll.
It's Muhammad got 75%. Unless I got a
Hitler is sitting at 8. Genghis is at 3. And Santa Claus is at 14.
Poor Santa Claus. Santa Claus
is owning both Hitler and Genghis over there.
I think too many people have seen. I think too many people have seen all the international depictions of Santa Claus, like the Russian one and whatever other sketches all get out things people teach their kids.
You know, like Krumpkiss and all the variants. Yeah. Creepy, creepy, creepy. I think he just wants to chat in the comments and not come up. Come on, bud.
Well, right here. Kick me to make space. I know there's space with me here too, but you can go ahead and kick me too.
Like, did you just post up that comment, Abdul, so that you could just be like, "Hey, look at me," and then run away and be a coward? Yeah.
Yeah, the Muslim-only version of Santa Claus visits little girls. No, actually, Muhammad visited both. So there's that.
It's the village imam.
Muhammad was equal opportunity when it came to young children and sucking on their tongues.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Come on, man. Hey. Imagine believing in that prophet. And here's the thing, too. Muslims will hear that. We talk about how Muhammad sucked on the tongues of little boys, how Muhammad spit in the mouths of men, and get mad, but at the same time believe it. It's like, how dare we know this information? This is supposed to be a secret within our own community.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of that within Islam itself, because you're supposed to, if you find out the sins of another Muslim, it's better for you to cover it up, right? Mm-hmm. If it's hidden, you cover it up, and then on the day of resurrection, Allah would cover up your sins. What sort of a garbage judge is that? I mean, seriously, if I was to look at a judge and he's over there covering up someone's sins, I'm not going to judge you for this. You're coming before me. You hit this old grandma on the way here, but you covered up someone else hitting another old grandma. You let him off the chain, so I'll let you off. What? That is a corrupt judge.
Yeah. And that's the God they believe in.
Can I make a formal challenge?
Yes.
For someone to come up here?
Who?
There's someone that goes by Truth Defenders that seems to have some really cool sources on this topic. But I'm not sure if he posted them in the chat because I'm not looking at the chat at the moment. It looks like
he did. I just saw them.
The one he sent me is different, but he should come just talk about it on here.
Oh, he keeps slipping notes. It's like if we're in some sort of school and he's slipping us notes, like, dude, just say it yourself.
He says I'm shy. I'm saying get over it.
Yeah, he's like Muhammad. He's shy.
Mates, bud.
He needs his Allah to not be shy for him. Oh my goodness.
I mean, seriously, after reading that hadith, it's like, okay, no, this guy's garbage. It's pretty obvious. Okay, we have a caller in. So if you're ready, I will go ahead and join you on in. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm confused.
So
why is her name Apostate of Allah?
Why is my name the Apostate of Allah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was trying to come up with a name. And then I thought it's more of a play on words because Muhammad calls himself the Apostle of Allah. And in Islam, Allah, deceives who he deceives, leads astray whom he leads astray, and brings to him whom he does. And I've been led astray, so I'm his apostate, the Apostate of Allah. And again, play on words, Apostle of Allah, Muhammad. So yeah, that's why.
That's fair. It's just at first glance when you see your name and you don't know the story, it sounds like you're pro Allah.
Apostate.
Well, I don't know definitions all the way. I make them up.
He reads the first letter.
Hey,
and
here's a definition I didn't make up, though. Here's a definition I did not make up. If you look at the Shrine of Satan statue, it's a Baphomet, meaning it's a hermaphrodite. It's got a goat head. And Pan is the goat-headed god of child love. Muhammad married a 6-year-old child. Muhammad comes from the word Baphomet of French. I thought that was interesting. That's why everybody's the goat these days. It's not the greatest of all time. It's the pandemic because Pan is the god of child love. Now you need to cover your face like Islam. I put that in your chat and you acted like it was insane a couple weeks ago, Eric. I'm on point. I made that up and I'm spot on. It's Cube Trust the Plan.
I probably just didn't realize what it was.
You could call it Q Trust the Plan because the Quran starts with Q, but it's Cube Trust the Plan because BlackRock owns everything and it's BlackRock Dome of the Rock. You know what I mean?
I don't. You lost me. I understand the Dome of Rock.
It. Dome of the Rock. BlackRock owns everything, and there's a BlackRock in Mecca that they worship. It's pagan worship. They're worshiping a rock. They go and kiss that rock. They circle it. All this time, people are trying to square the circle when really they were circling the cube. They're worshiping Satan. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
I appreciate what you do.
Where it boils down to. I mean, the pagans were doing it right before him, and even Muhammad's followers were like, well, if I didn't see Muhammad do this, I know you're just a rock. You're just a bunch of rock here. But if I didn't see Muhammad doing this, then I wouldn't do this either. Because Muhammad did it, I'll do it.
Yeah, it's insane. I can't see how people didn't put the correlation together when I said it in 2020 and lost 10 YouTube channels back then, that it's a pandemic and Pan is the god of child love and you need to cover your face like Islam. And then what's the next agenda? To go green. Well, whose color's it green? It's Islam. They paint all their metal green. It's the green crescent moon. They want to hide the Son of God like an eclipse, like a crescent moon. That's all.
Well,
I love what you do. Christ is king.
So, yep, Christ is Lord. So thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and let anyone else come on up. Is there any other questions you want to ask? Sarah?
I'm going to be honest. I was lost. So yeah. So Truth Defenders did ask, does he think Jews invented jujitsu?
Jitsu.
Yeah.
Here's one I made up. It's called Ain't Nothing But a G Thing, like pop culture. There's the big G of Freemasonry, and it's like Snoop Dogg said, it's gin and Jews, but it's DJINN, the evil demons of Islam. And the Jews, they both hated Jesus. It's gin and Jews. Ain't nothing but a G thing, the big G of Freemasonry.
Do you just come up with this out of
I do.
nowhere?
I do. Shut the door.
Wow.
Were you born in a barn? Were you born in a barn? Jesus was born in a barn. It's an open door, Revelation 3:8. It's an open door that no man can shut. Only Jesus can shut that door. Revelation 3:8. Were you born in a barn? No, Jesus was. He was born in a manger. It's a barn.
Okay. Interesting. I think that's good food for thought.
But we don't live by bread alone. We live by the entire word of God.
So we have someone in the chat who recommended this. Peter 2 Apologetics recommended this here.
Oh, yes.
Recommended us read this one, and I'm going to let you do that one, Sarah, if you don't mind.
This is a funny one. Narrated by Sahl bin Saad, the Prophet said, "Whoever CPS be upon him, whoever guarantees me the chastity of what is in between his legs, his private parts, and what is between his jaws, his tongue, I guarantee him paradise." This is the equivalent of the eyes or the leather strap of the anus.
You see, the response is it's a weak hadith.
It's not
It's a Bukhari.
Because here's the thing, though, like how we understand what we know Muhammad was trying to communicate with the eyes and the leather strap. I know what he's communicating here. But Muhammad, as somebody that's being raised up, oh, he had a beautiful way with words. What the heck is this? Just say, be modest, save yourself for marriage. Don't go around sleeping around. You know what I mean? This is what he's trying to say. Instead, this is how he puts it.
Well, I don't think that's what he's trying to say here, because that's not what those words mean. Whomever guarantees whom? Me. What is between his legs? So if we take out the additions here.
Yeah.
We have whomever guarantees me what is between his legs. So this is to a dude. And what is between his jaws, I guarantee him paradise. Whoa, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Who guarantees paradise? Who allows and doesn't allow into?
Paradise.
Yeah,
so,
but this is a completely different thing without the added parts. That is pretty
that's
not
really bad.
Good. This is really, really bad, yeah.
Well, even if you have the chastity of what is between his legs, so if you guarantee me the chastity of what is between his legs, so still, hey, Muhammad gets it. What's between the dude's legs? I.e., his private parts, just to make sure it wasn't clear enough what they were referring to. And what is between his jaws, i.e., his tongue.
Trying to be charitable here.
I mean, even if we gave it the most charitable and added in this as part of the original, it still sounds really bad.
Is that why?
I'm pretty sure this sounds like the pickup line Muhammad must have used for DL Kabi.
That's what
I'm about to say.
Whoever guarantees me what is between his legs, I will guarantee him paradise.
Again, Sahih al-Bukhari.
This was narrated more than once, though. So this is Sahih. So it's not just that saying Sahih in the bottom of the hadith. You could find more than one narration of this very thing. So.
You know what? Let's do something dangerous.
Whoever can. Oh, that search bar.
Here we go again. This is it's a different one. And again, the grading is Sahih. I think this was the first one we had. Yeah, that's the first one. It's 2 jawbones. I don't think he understood how biology works, but we already knew that. So again, this is... that's Al-Bukhari again. Guarantees... Okay. Again, he got a promise of entering into Jannah. So he is the one who is signing off on this. This is really bad. Because this goes against the doctrine that the only one who judges, the only one who can let people into paradise is Allah himself. No, Muhammad's over here signing checks.
Unless Muhammad is their Allah. I mean, don't they have to... Isn't that the whole idea of what the performing the sunnah is to practicing everything that Muhammad did, whether it is entering into a bathroom using your left foot first, or anything that you do, how you wash your face, how you perform cleansing, the ghusl, all these things is all... Eating 3 dates, you know, like everything, all has to do with what Muhammad did. So this is all worshiping Muhammad. You think when they're going to fast during Ramadan, or when they're praying, or when they're whatever that they're doing, even if they go to their pilgrimage, they're thinking about Allah? Allah is always a second thought in the background. It's always Muhammad. Muhammad said this. Muhammad said to do this. It's Muhammad wrote when put in the Quran and said this, this, and that. It's never... Very rarely you hear anything about Allah.
Well, even then, we've had experiences. Elle, do you want to share that experience?
Sorry, what is it referring to?
The experience of how Allah is less than Muhammad in Muslim minds.
Yeah, so there was this one time that I was having conversations with Muslims and gifting them the Path of the Prophets booklet in Arabic and English, and it essentially goes through the biblical and Quranic quote-unquote prophets. So not as much considered prophets in Christianity, but considered prophets in Islam, for example, starting with Adam. So they consider Adam to be a prophet. As Christians, we generally don't. But it goes through and it shows how everyone in the Bible pointed forward to Jesus in the Old Testament, and how it all showed our need for Christ. And not only that, but the need for Christ to be God, not just a prophet, but God himself. And how his sacrifice on the cross was needed, and how he is our God, our salvation, our Redeemer. And so anyway, so I gave out this booklet to several people, but there was this one woman who came back and was very mad at me about it because it didn't mention Muhammad as a prophet in the booklet. But anyway, after a long conversation, bouncing back and dealing with a lot of different objections that she had, something that I said, because she was, to my knowledge, the context at that point was she was very against violence. And so we showed how the Quran is not against violence. Muhammad was not against violence. Allah was not against violence. And so essentially it came down to it. And I said, well, thank you. You know, you're much better than Allah. And she had no reaction. And so I'm like, did she just not hear me? Whatever. So I'm like, thank you so much for being much better than Allah. Again, no reaction. It's like, what on earth? Like, does she just not, like, does that not matter to her? Because that would matter to me. Like, if somebody claimed that I was better than God, like, that's not cool. So I said, thank you. You're so much better than Muhammad. And she flipped. So she didn't care that I was calling her better than her supposed God, but she cared a lot that I called her better than her false prophet. And just insane to see the idolization of Muhammad that really is their God. They don't care about Allah, they care about Muhammad. Most of the time, it seems.
No, I can't think. I'm here as you're talking. It's like I'm trying to think whenever we hear about attacks and like just chaos for Muslims when it has to do with religion, and never really had to do with somebody insulting Allah. It had to do with insulting Muhammad. You drew a picture of Muhammad. You showed a picture of Muhammad just to talk about free speech. If you guys remember what happened a couple of years ago, or was that last year? Anyways, like, but it's always about Muhammad. Muhammad is their God. That's it.
Yeah.
Muhammad is their God. That's who he is. Do as I say. And he didn't, looks like he didn't hide it. I guarantee him paradise.
I guarantee you paradise. Yeah, but that is such an issue. Because it violates what the Quran says, right?
Yeah, it does. And I don't think, yeah, it does.
So it says that Muhammad doesn't even know if he's going to be in paradise, but he can guarantee it to other people. You can find that in Quran 46:9, where he's saying he does not know what will be done with him or with you. So if he's promising, hey, if you give me what I want between your legs, your private parts, to a dude, and he says, sure, I'll do that, Muhammad's going to guarantee him entrance into paradise, but Muhammad doesn't know.
You want to know
Muhammad
something?
doesn't know either way.
Maybe Muslims misunderstood Tawheed the whole time. Because I'm trying to think, the word Tawheed in the Arabic language does not mean an absolute one. The Tawahhud means an absolute one. Tawheed kind of means, like roughly speaking, it's like a unity in one. So maybe they misunderstood Tawheed, and what it was supposed to be was Allah, Muhammad, and the Quran. And they have their own little version of the Trinity. That's the only way. Hey, you don't know? You know, there was
That would
always
make just as much sense.
Islam, since the beginning of Islam, this is what they were fighting and killing each other over. No? A bunch of other stuff too, but like this is one of those things that I'm describing what is Tawheed, having these debates and all these other, maybe.
So again, I think definitely this hadith here needs to have more emphasis, because again, that's still like, it speaks to, again, Muhammad being homosexual. It speaks to Muhammad making false promises, lying, deceiving his own followers because of this guarantee, or the Quran is wrong. So that's where you're at. Either Muhammad lied to his own followers in order to get sexual favors, or the Quran is corrupt. Either way, it's really bad. There's no way around that one.
That's confusing because the Quran would also say you have to follow everything Muhammad says. So you really do need to turn off your brain and not even try to make sense of things.
Read, but do not understand.
Cognitive dissonance.
Well, like the Quran says, you don't read, or you might be, don't question, or you might be misguided.
Mm-hmm. You gotta turn off your brain. And the bad part is the majority of Muslims are not even Arabs to even understand what they're reading.
Well, I'd still be wondering how many Muslims actually know this even exists. How many Muslims know about where he's talking about cross-dressing? I know in Sunnah.com they changed that, the translation, to mean bed now, because it got caught with, and they're like, oh shoot, we need to alter this. So they changed it to mean bed, but the actual translation is underwear.
That's cool. Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't get it. I got nothing. And they don't ask, the don't question part is such an obvious go-to whenever you're building a cult. And you don't want people questioning, you don't want people interrogating it. But then again, we look at the Bible and it says if you have questions, ask. Knock and it will be answered.
I don't know how many Muslims are actually listening in right now, but I just want to know, like, that is a red flag. If you believe Islam to be true, if an ideology that you're following is telling you that this is the truth, it should not prevent you from going outside and learning, because you should know that what you believe in is the truth. Once you have that, no, stay away from here. They're lying. They only and the leaders of whatever religion that you are following is only like whatever you find out by the outside is what your leaders is telling you, and they're preventing you from going outside for finding out for yourself. That's how you know, like, that's a red flag. That's how you know you should just run away and never return. You know, Lion King, some strange reason. But yeah.
Run away and never return.
But yeah, that should be a red flag. Because in the Christian faith, we know Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and nobody gets to the Father but through him, right? This is what he said. We know this. We are now confident we can go look at other people's religions. Now we got to go evangelize. We want to not misrepresent other religions. I know they like to claim that we do, but we don't. We actually take the time to study and read. Look, there's a hadith right there in front of you. Okay, we take the time and study and try to understand. We're not afraid that this is going to lead us astray. Our pastors are not afraid that this is going to lead us astray. My pastor knows what I'm doing. He's not like, no, stay away from here. If you have that, though, it's like something doesn't go click in your mind. Oh, they're trying to protect us. I'm like, you don't even do that for your own child. You want your child, depending on his growth, to be exposed more and grow. Your own religion doesn't even allow you to do that.
Now, there is something to be said about having faith at a certain point, but yeah, to be able to question, to be able to come with your concerns and God meet you where you are is crazy.
Do you remember what Muhammad Hijab said? There was a man that said that he was struggling with his faith, and then instead of helping him, he starts yelling at him. It's like, I'm not even a Muslim anymore. I was like, yo, he's looking at you for help. This is how you treat him?
Yeah, if memory serves, wasn't that the one that he's like, this is why your children are going to leave Islam. This is why your children are going to go to hell, because you dare question.
This is you sit around watching Netflix. Like, for real. Lose faith. It's better for you. It's because you can't defend it. And we're not living 20 years ago, 30 years ago anymore. Now we have the internet. These Muslims now have the internet. They have YouTube. They can go on Google, search things. They're not closed out like how it used to be. They're going to have more questions, which praise God for us as Christians. You know what I mean? But it just goes to show how weak and how Islam it's not even sand it stands on, where they have to just get mad and offended and then beg for money because I don't know if you saw other, like, commercials for like these Dawa people being like, hey, give us money because of our youth, they're leaving Islam.
Give a loan to Allah. Give a loan. Why am I giving you a loan? I am not Allah's bank.
The bank of Allah. Wait, you don't earn interest.
It's such a completely different mindset than... Well, the whole point is you're supposed to give money and then get back. Now, that's very interesting that they focus on that. Definitely whenever you look at other cults, such as the prosperity gospel, see the same sort of mentality. Give me the money and God will bless you. You give me money, God will bless you. Now, again, you guys should be faithful in your tithe. You should give to your church. You should give not because you're going to get something back, but because you want to serve the Lord. You want to see his benefit happen.
Yeah, not because you're going to get something. It's like God loves a joyful giver, not a giver that's feeling forced like they need to give.
Yeah, God's not a vending machine. You don't put in the right combination of currency and number pushing, and out comes what you want it to come out.
But I love give us money, please give donations because our children are leaving Islam. The avalanche of apostasy. Praise God for the avalanche of apostasy.
You gotta step back and say something we're doing isn't working. There's got to be something that they're getting somewhere else that we are not giving them. And maybe it's just as simple as the truth. Sometimes.
Yeah,
it could be that there's something that's happening that's misleading and you need to pay attention to this and deal with the issue. Sure, but the problem is when you guys come up there and tell us that the main reason you guys converted was the scientific miracles in the Quran, and then you come on and you say this.
Very carefully. The scientific miracles argument in the Quran got debunked.
We're proud of that.
He became a Muslim. I think his father was either his mother is Alawite, which they're a very liberal sect of Islam. And I think his mother's an Alawite, and his father is an atheist, I think. So he became a Muslim because of the scientific miracles. So when he finds this has been debunked and he's still there, I'm sorry. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. But when I look at Ali Dawah's platform and what he's already gained, how do I know that he actually believes what he believes and is not doing it for what these people accuse Christians for?
Well, he said, you don't believe, you just submit.
Yeah,
you don't believe anymore, you just submit.
Is he doing that though? Does he actually believe or is actually submitting to that? Or does he want, because he doesn't lose his fan base?
That's what it seems like more and more.
I can't.
Sorry, if I was. Oh, go ahead.
I said I can't get around that because it doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me. Because I'm putting it all together. I'm like, I'm tired of just giving people the benefit of the doubt. Because whenever I give people the benefit of the doubt, I turn around and find out I am really wrong. So.
Well, in his case, I mean, if I were to flip it around and say, okay, let's say one of the main reasons, one of the things that impressed me about Christianity the most was the not scientific, but the historical authenticity of the Bible and the events that happened around Jesus' death and resurrection. That there really isn't any better explanation than that he was who he said he was. Let's say for just argument's sake, that blew up and it was never true to begin with. It was all false. I would honestly reevaluate. I would stop and say, wait, hold on. What I built my eternity on, I built my faith on, was a lie. I would have to reevaluate from there on out and say, is this even worth doing? And it wouldn't be something that'd be quick. I mean, I would have to sit down and actually study it and reevaluate it.
Honestly, if it was me, I would just got up and been like, you know what? I put all my life on this, everything, sacrificed all these things just to find out this is all a lie. Goodbye. There wouldn't have been any more evaluation.
Yeah, my wife's probably thinking in the back of my mind, yeah, Eric would just probably light it up on fire and walk away. I would just nuke it because I got ticked off. Sounds like me.
Really? This is what I did? This is Okay, but that's not what they do. Or just, I'll leave that one in particular. Because I remember him, wasn't he the one who tried to just not even too long ago was talking about the so-called 7 layers and how dark it is when you go under the sea and this scientific miracle in the different hemisphere? Like, wasn't he the same one? Not like there wasn't a whole big stretch of time in between these two things.
Yep. A second here. Yep. Yeah, you're right. He is the one who did that. In fact, he even refers to it, saying that, oh, that was wrong for him to say. And tell you truthfully, there's a certain point where you actually look at these references and it's like, it's not claiming to be scientific.
Mm-hmm. It's not their claiming to be like saying, yeah.
So, Muslims, guys, be honest with yourself and reevaluate. If Muhammad says in the Quran that Allah has told him that he doesn't know where he's going and he doesn't know where you're going, but then you look at the Sahih Hadith and you find out, oh, he's over here guaranteeing people paradise for certain things that Muhammad wants. Something's not adding up. And it's not me saying it. It's just common logic looking at the 2 points here and saying, okay, either this hadith, the Sahih Hadith, who the Muslim scholars say is authentic, actually happened, and Muhammad did say this, and then that violates the Quran, or this is wrong, the Muslim scholars are wrong, and because you question the Muslim scholars, you are then outside of Islam to begin with, you're an apostate already. You have to go to Quran only, but then you're left with only like a quarter of what is actually Islam. Not even that, because you don't even have all the 5 pillars.
And that's crazy. Even after Muhammad goes and promises, I think he promised paradise to Abu Bakr, but he didn't even believe that he was going to go. He was scared. But at the same time, Muhammad wasn't even sure what was going to happen to him. But he had this authority to be like telling other people you're going to go to heaven.
Yeah, but the only one that can actually do that's Allah. So, and if this was a revelation from Allah right here, if this was a revelation from Allah saying this, one, it doesn't make much sense because it's obviously Muhammad saying it. But let's say, hypothetically, just for this, it's actually Allah saying, whoever guarantees me what is between his legs and what is between his jaw, I guarantee him paradise. Let's say, for the sake of the arguments, Allah saying it. Issues. Why isn't this in the Quran then? If it was a revelation, it should be in the Quran.
But it's saying the Prophet CPS be upon him.
Yeah. So that definitely... I was trying to give it the best spin I could imagine putting on it.
The best spin that may be chastity. But then I was like, yeah, but it doesn't make any sense.
No, it definitely means that he wants whatever between the... He wants their chastity. He's going after these dudes.
He wants... Oh, my... It's like, this is sounding like, please prostitute yourself and get Jannah for payment.
Brother,
I need to have that on repeat on this live stream. Ew. No.
Okay, what else? This whole... What am I supposed to say when you have that hadith up?
What? That was up by the live chat. They put it up. I didn't go here, but this is their ideal.
What were they looking up that they found that?
I don't know. Hey, Peter 2, Apologetics. What were you looking up that you found this, bud?
Why is this your favorite hadith, too?
You have issues. Yeah, that is. Well, there are so many that are... Yeah, this by itself, that means that there are 6,807 other hadith that come before this one, right? There are a lot of hadith, and that's just Sahih al-Bukhari alone. There are a lot of hadith out there, and a lot of them are really bad. So if you put this one with the whole cross-dressing one, with everything with Dija,
and the tongue sucking, the
guys, Muhammad had issues.
It's disgusting.
I still wanted to find out. Okay.
Arabia must have smelled really bad.
2 Peter, since you're already looking this stuff up, I'm going to ask you to do this one other thing then. Since this is your favorite one, I might be able to replace your favorite one.
Oh, dear.
There is allegedly, it's not on Sahih.com, it's not in a lot of the websites, it's supposed to have been removed, and I saw it once. And that was it. There's supposed to be a hadith from Sahih al-Bukhari that talks about Muhammad approaching camels in this way. And once he finished, it was during his wife's time of the month. Which actually makes logical sense, because if you have a lot of women living together, sometimes their cycles will synchronize. So if he has all of his wives and he doesn't want to have intercourse with them, he would approach the camels. And, well, do the math. And then it says, after that, it talks about him approaching the male and the young camels, male and female, in the same way. If you could find the hadith, I would be grateful. But I have not been able to find it other than one Reddit post, so it's not worth actually saying that's actually there.
I wouldn't be surprised, because it's not unheard of in places like Pakistan, and not unheard of. It's kind of common, and I've heard it from Turkish people I've known personally myself in the villages of Turkey.
Well, I did a whole live stream with Hatun on that very topic. Because even Reliance of the Traveler, which is Sharia law handbook, refers to Sharia law talking about this. And that it's allowed. Let me see if I can find that. I'll just show you the Arabic. I don't have the translation with me.
How they view zina, like sex outside of marriage and whatnot, is really skewed, because with an animal, because again, as like, it's not being mean, it's not being Islamophobic, it's not being nothing. This is stuff, even as a Muslim, this is what I heard. So this is not even what I heard when I was a Christian. Okay? This is what I heard when I was a Muslim from Turkish people. For a little small time, I had the misfortune of dating a Turk. And this is the stuff that he told me. And how it's very common. And he was from the villages. But how that's okay. Now it's like hindsight is being 2020 right now. But at the same time, when you go to places like Afghanistan or whatnot, when they with the little boys, they don't view that as being gay. No. Because they have not yet grown and reached puberty. Where's the ill brother ill thing that's supposed to be up?
I should have that on autoplay, huh?
Yes.
Just every time you take a break, just every time you're talking, you take a break, this plays.
Brother,
Sorry, I was looking for a reference. I know it's 12 point, if memory serves, but I gotta go through the actual reference. But yeah, so I dove into that. And then if you take into consideration that according to Hadith and some Muslim scholars, I'll forget about that with Reliance of Trouble. If anyone's curious, you can look it up. You can use like Google Translate on your phone, and it'll translate it, and it talks about that there's no punishment for people who approach. Now, there are Hadith that say that there's punishment, but then the next Hadith right afterwards says, we don't enforce that. And it's like, but what's the point of putting a punishment here if you're not going to enforce it?
Because what if there's no women and you're out in battle and there's no women, you have no sex slaves yet? How are you supposed to relieve yourself?
You got multiple Muslim scholars who saying it, who are quoted saying that if you relieve your lust with a sheep or camel, you're fine. You're not impure. And then there's other writings from scholars that specifically say, oh, the only thing you have to do is wash yourself. Again, if you guys want to see that, the full enchilada list of all the references are on that live stream. We tore that apart. But at the same time, if you realize that according to some hadith and according to the Quran, well, not the Quran, but the hadith and some Muslim scholars, women are animals. So theoretically, any intercourse, if it's not with a man, is not with a human, according to that mindset. So it's all equal.
Oh, I think I need to go because I just realized what I just probably said sounded really wrong and bad. When I said I had the misfortune of dating a Turk, I meant to say a Muslim Turk.
I was going to let you. I was going to let you throw I was just going to let you throw them under the bus. And I was just going to slide right along with that. Let the comments ride. Be like, oh, my hands are off with that one. So I guess we have varied a little bit from the topic, although not really. Yeah. Because after all, this is all part and parcel. I guess the question is, what makes someone evil? Well, if he's teaching a bunch of people to go screw goats and camels, I'd say that's pretty bad. If he's making false promises of going to heaven if you let me have fun with you, it's a bit of an issue. I would consider that kind of evil.
Yeah, we didn't move from the topic.
Yep, it's all on the topic. So I'm going to pull up again the poll that we have going. Muhammad is now at 79, and there is 61 votes on it. So Muhammad's at 79%. Adolf Hitler is at 5%. Genghis is at 5%. This one is tied with Hitler. And Santa Claus is at 11. Santa Claus has got more votes than both Adolf Hitler and Genghis combined. I think we got a bunch of people that hate Christmas. Or at least Santa Claus here.
Yeah, but I can see a Muslim go and not know what the poll is about, and they just take a screenshot. You see, people love Muhammad. He won in the poll.
He won. He was number one. He was the top. So yes, Muhammad is the top of the pile when it comes to worst people in all of history. And I will.
Did he prove us wrong?
I don't think
so like we're in agreement, me and you. Can anybody else prove us wrong?
I don't think any of the Muslims, and we definitely have some in the chat, at least at one point, they kept popping up. They don't want to defend it. And this is something I've seen happen whenever I talk about Muhammad himself. They don't want to talk about him.
They don't
Jesus was a Muslim. Was Jesus a Muslim? I know a bunch will jump on there. But when it comes to Muhammad himself, not so much. Not so much.
Little live stream on was Muslim Jesus a loser?
That's a good one. Well, I did a live stream with David, which was we love Muhammad, or we respect Muhammad more than Muslims do. Because we do not add words to what he said. We take him at face value.
Yeah.
Muslims didn't like that one too much. Almost as if that's kind of offensive.
Why? They find it offensive when you're like, no. Because your wife did bring this up about if you do tell a Muslim that, oh, you are better than your prophet. You know, because like my husband doesn't do that for me and my husband takes care of me, well, your husband's better than your prophet. And then there's that one. So, yeah.
And it's all about Muhammad, what he could get, what his pleasures were. Obviously, that hadith clearly shows that that's what the root of it was. So, again, a special thank you. We're going to go ahead and wrap it on up here then, since no Muslim's willing to come defend Muhammad.
You see, they're scared.
They're running. They're running.
Weaklings.
They're weaklings! You boys! You boys are running! You won't ever face me! You're not men! You a bunch of cowardly boys! At least that's what Muhammad Hijab would say if the roles were reversed.
Yeah.
I am not that insecure about my beliefs. So a special thank you again to our members, Gabe, Reasoned Answers, Breakfast Gun, and Professor Yeffel. Thank you for helping keep this channel going. At least justifying some additional expenses, such as Screaming Goats.
Wait.
Uh-oh. I see the shirt.
Yeah.
I don't know where my Screaming Goat went.
I love my Screaming Goat.
Now, we will actually... I am looking at starting up a store where those will be provided, as well as you can get the shirts as well off of there. So if you guys want one of those for yourselves, stay tuned. I am working on that. It takes a while to get going. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Is there anything you want to add as we are signing off?
No, thank you for having me. I'm sorry if I wasn't like if I got off from topic to topic and stuff like that. So. But just again, I have my YouTube channel, Apostate of Allah. You guys want to go and subscribe and watch the videos. I did drop a video today on about mentioning Ahmed Dida and Zakir Naik and answering where did you say I am God, worship me and whatnot. And yeah, Muslims never answer any of the questions. They only say other stuff that has nothing to do with the video. So and I never get answers from Muslims. Maybe your Muslim viewers can answer the questions.
Maybe. You guys would have to go there and check that out. Again, go and subscribe. Hit that bell. Do all that fun stuff to those videos. And check out that video and find out what she has to say on it. So, and 1 second here. So where does Jesus say, I am God, worship me? Answered? Mm-hmm. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. So there you go. There's the video there. Go check it out. That's your guys' assignment. Go watch it. Take that and put it in the description there. In the live chat. That is your guys' job. That's what I am putting you in charge of. Go subscribe. Go watch the video. And decide accordingly. Find out if her answer is good enough. Mm-hmm. And if it's not, let her know.
Yes, let me know. Like, I'm not against. Just let me know what anything better to do. You know what I mean? So yeah. I
have a feeling the answer is probably that you're perfectly fine, considering it's a pretty easy answer once you actually read the sources. So again, guys, remember that Jesus Christ is the only way, the truth, and the life. There is no way into heaven but through the blood of the cross. And our heart is that every Muslim comes to know Jesus Christ as their personal Lord and Savior, that they come into heaven at the end of their life with us hand in hand, that they are our brothers and sisters in Christ. They abandon Islam, they abandon Muhammad, and embrace the God who loves them unconditionally. That is our heartfelt desire.